Hi, I'm Rob Mills, and this is Just Tech. There's a few reviewers that don't like me. Yeah. This is still a very popular show all around the world. Why do they hate us? I just love this character. It is a dream role. I remember sitting in the car crying. The greatest villain of all time on Neighbours, some say.
Before we get stuck into today's conversation, I want to thank the official beauty partner of Just Tack, beautyboat.com. They have supported us from the very beginning, and they are stepping into this new era with us. Whether you were looking for Egyptian Magic Beauty Cream, the By Terry and Tan Luxe ranges, or their legendary Discovery boxes, they curate absolute Tier 1 products. For our long-time listeners, the legacy code is still active. Use BIN25, BIN25 at checkout for 25% off your entire order. Head to beautyboat.com today, and thank you for supporting the brands that support this platform. G'day, and welcome to Just Tack and Rob Mills. Look, if you haven't been paying attention to the last few episodes, that's okay, I forgive you. But we have been diving deep into what it actually takes to survive the acting industry. We had Travis Jeffrey talking about the sheer physical grind of something like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Charlotte Nickdow breaking down the psychological whiplash of booking your dream role like she did in Apple TV's Mythic Quest, only to realize it doesn't fix the rest of you. Today's guest is someone who has navigated both of those extremes and then some. He is what you'd call the Swiss Army knife of the Australian entertainment industry. He survived the peak of the 2000s paparazzi machine. He's led massive blockbuster musicals from Wicked to Waitress, which is now on, and you should go see it. So check it out in the description and the show notes and stuff below. And he spent years playing one of the most complex, terrifying villains in Neighbours history. Or so he likes to say. We get into the emotional toll of playing a sociopath like Finn, the reality of the 8-show week, and ponder whether Rob will ever age out of the young heartthrob casting bracket. Probably never. He's incredibly honest, and he's one of the hardest working guys in the room. But before we jump in, a massive thank you to everyone who has been sharing the pod. I see you and I thank you, and I really, truly appreciate it. We've got some incredible guests coming up over the next few months, including a few massive names dialing in from the UK, so make sure you're subscribed, so click the button so you don't miss any of them, even though you could just come back and listen to them anyway, but you get subscribed. Also, as of today, I've just launched the Just Tack Patreon. It's officially live, and I am giving away a 7-day free trial right now for the next 30 days for anyone who wants to jump into the private Discord, which is a private message service, or the better bit, you could get the complete, uncut, extended video of this exact interview with Rob Mills. Look, you can actually go over there and watch that right now, or you can watch this and then go over there and watch it again, but longer. If you want. Look, enough self-promotion. I'll break down exactly how it all works at the end of the video or podcast, and the link is in the bio if you want to jump in. Look, let's get into it. I'm Just Tack, and this is Rob Millsy Mills. Rob Millsy Mills, a.k.a. the most famous fifth-placed person in history, I have to say.
Not even a podium finish.
Not even a podium, but I've got to. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, he probably is the most famous fifth-placed person of anything ever. That's a compliment, not a. That's not a bad thing.
No, thanks, mate. I think Ricky Lee was like 6th the following year. Oh, I tell you what, my mate Emma Sciano, she was in the 2nd year of Australian Idol. I think she finished around 6th or 7th or 8th or something like that, and she's done very well for herself.
Oh, both of them have done well, but I still feel like you've probably got them at the famous level.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like Millsy's now, like, you own that. Like, if anyone in Australia says Millsy, they know exactly who they're talking about.
Who?
Who? Didn't he Didn't he what? Who's that guy?
Yeah.
I actually was watching our TAC talks during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
As a little bit of research for this. I had seen interviews or little clips and stuff that you've posted of you talking about when people are talking to you about Waitress, how like, yeah, it's been my dream role or whatever. And often that can be just a bit of, people say that in the press run of things or whatever. But during that TAC Talks, I asked the question, what dream roles you got out there? And you said two. It wasn't the first one. Actually, I should have written down what the first one was, but forgotten. You probably already know it off the top of your head. And the second one was, I just saw this show in London called The Waitress, and I'd love to play the doctor on it.
I'm manifesting it. I saw it 10 years ago on Broadway, and then I saw it again in the West End. And I don't go see shows twice. Like, usually once is enough. I've seen it, great. But this, I just had to see it again. I took Georgie to see it. My fiance, it must have been 6 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Almost exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and I just love this character. He's funny and quirky, and he's a bit neurotic, and yeah, man, love it. It is a dream role.
Were you a bit shocked to get the call for the doctor at this point?
Are you saying I'm too old?
Never too old, but you are older.
I am old, but look, if Nat Bass can play Jenna, I can play the doctor. So we are perfectly cast in these roles.
Like, in your mind, had you moved on from playing the younger heartthrobbing shows, or were you still like, oh no, they're like in my wheelhouse still?
I mean, look, I don't know if you can tell, but with a shaved face, I reckon I'm still looking about 35. I turn 44 very soon, but I reckon I could still play mid-30s.
Yeah, no, I'd buy it. I mean, I played 15 at 30, so I feel like you could play 35 at 44. So
you're like Jason Priestley in 90210. Were you doing? Did you do intimacy coaching back then?
No.
It's so strange, right? Like back then, you're like, oh, you just got on stage and you kiss someone, or you get on set and you just have to kiss someone. You're like, okay. Now it's so well choreographed. I was talking about this yesterday with a friend. They're like, what's it like kissing Nat? I go, it's not like kissing anything. It's like dancing. It's like you've choreographed the move so everyone feels comfortable. It's not like, it looks sexy, I think, for the audience, but it's not.
It should look sexy for the audience, yeah.
Yeah, but for us, it's like, there's no movement. Like there's.
Yeah, it shouldn't feel sexy on stage because you should both feel safe in your, in your roles.
I know that when I did Neighbours and I had to make out with Bonnie and
Jodie.
And Jodie, yeah. Like, it was so well choreographed and it made it look so good, but like everyone just felt comfortable, I think is probably the best word. It was great. I really enjoyed the safety of it, so no one feels awkward or weird. It just feels like, oh, we're just doing like a dance move kind of thing.
I feel like it's a great like real world example of the progression of the deconstruction of the patriarchy as like a power concept amongst all industries, and that not that it was only a thing that women would bring in, but with the rise of people in power being female, bringing in an intimacy coordinator for a lot of men, especially powerful men, traditionally in those roles, talking about sex or talking about intimacy and that kind of stuff was like, you'd have a director walk in and go, just do it. And then, because it was an uncomfortable thing for them to approach. Whereas from a female perspective, I feel like it's more comfortable. And then the idea of having an intimacy coordinator becomes more obvious, which it should have been ages ago, because as you said, like, it does make the scenes better. Depending on the intimacy coordinator, some can be perhaps a little bit too heavy-handed sometimes, but that's like anything. You have good and bad directors, you have good and bad co-stars or whatever too. So
why did you look at me when you said that? I was an excellent patient. I was an excellent patient for you.
With any other actor, I wouldn't have said it, but because I saw your face, I was like, I've got to say that too.
Were you doing like? Were you my my neuro doctor on neurologist? Were you on Neighbours? At one stage?
But the terminology was strange because I was still kind of a resident at that point. I was trying to pick my specialization, and my specialization then became, for the sake of your character, some sort of neuro thing. I don't even know exactly, but it was a weird, like, they wanted me to basically act as a psychologist, but from a doctor perspective. So I think I was doing it from the perspective of some kind of study where I was studying your brain, so that could come from the neuro side, but then allowed me to ask some psychological questions because that helped the neuro
It was beautiful writing. It was beautiful writing. Can we just have a hats off
I
to the
mean, look,
writers?
that's creative to figure out a way. Like, we want to have it. We
Yeah.
don't want Finn to be going off with some random psychologist.
We can't afford it. We can't afford another character to bring in. Oh,
Not with you on the books, mate. Bloody
that's right.
hell.
That's right. I was thinking-
No, yeah. It's a real creative way to get, the existing characters amongst each other, I
It was
thought.
great. It was great. I loved it.
Do you find it hard or fun to jump into those evil roles?
Yeah. I love it. To the point where I said, well, maybe I could play Earl in Waitress. It's nice playing the neurotic doctor, but it would be fun to play the sort of dead shit husband, I suppose.
Outside of Finn, how many opportunities have you had to play the dark side?
Not enough. No,
Not
not
enough.
enough.
That's a good answer.
I love it. I mean, the darkest on stage I've played is probably Jesus, and that sounds weird, right? Jesus Christ. He's just becomes a bit of a, he gets the Jesus complex. I think it came from him. As far as like the darkness that overcomes him, of like the world around him, of like everyone praising him and the power that you get from that. I think there's a bit of evil in that, depending how you look at it.
Have you finished up all of the Bon Jovi stuff, or did I see recently that you'd done a little bit more of it?
Yeah, we had a corporate up in Cairns last week, and I'm off to Adelaide tomorrow for another corporate. So I'm still doing it as part of like my corporate set kind of thing, which is fun. And then I think we're going to do, it could be a final one in December in Melbourne. They're actually going to tour, which I'm excited for them, but also skeptical of the amount of dates that he's doing. As someone who is singing these songs, and I feel like I'm in my prime at the moment, sort of vocally. Like he has really struggled with his voice. I hope that he can perform the way the fans want him to perform, because it's a big sing. Those songs are just ludicrous.
Why did you pick John Bon Jovi? For one thing, it is like the style of singing he does is damaging in how he kind of approaches, because it's basically close to screaming, right?
Yeah.
But was it the challenge, or did you just love his music and was like, I want to do this?
You know what it's like, Jack. Sometimes you're unemployed, and sometimes you need to. No. There was a few things. My friend Joe, who's the drummer in the band and the promoter, he rang me in 2024. I was doing Anne Juliet. I was singing a John Bon Jovi song in that show, in It's My Life, and he's like, "You love Bon Jovi?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm not a huge fan, but I'm a fan, and I love the songs. I've always loved the songs. He goes, well, what about we do a 40-year anniversary? He was meant to do the tour. He's not doing it anymore. I think the fans deserve a 40-year tour. So why don't we do it? And I was like, all right, let's do it. So we put the whole thing together, and that's how it sort of came about. And then it just kept selling really well. So we're like, well, we might as well just keep doing it. So yeah, that's how it's great. People want to see it. I don't mind putting on the leather pants and getting the guns out. It keeps me fit, because I can't be fat Bon Jovi on stage. So I also like the fact that we're not doing a tribute show. We're playing the songs to the best of our ability, which I think we do. Like Simon Hosford on guitar is, I think, one of Australia's greatest guitarists. He is our Richie Sambora, but we're not trying to be them. We're just ourselves on stage, but we're playing the songs, as close to the record as possible. It's fun to rock out with these songs, and it's fun for everyone to just, I don't know, a bit of nostalgia for them to go back to their youth. I always believe that, whether it's music or food or a certain sound can take you back to a certain place and time in your life. And music does that really well.
How do you go with karaoke? Because it's something that I struggle with to a degree, because I feel like if you can sing, like karaoke isn't fun when you sing well, right? Like you kind of want to just be belting something. So you got to pick like the hardest song you could possibly find on the list.
Yeah. My thing is, but
you're doing Bon Jovi now, so I mean that's like peak tier as well. So
thank you.
That's a bit unfair.
I think as a singer, you have to sing something you've never sung before. That's the rule.
Right. That's a good rule.
Yeah. Or you have to be hammered, which I don't recommend. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your body or your anything.
It's really not good for anything, yeah.
It's not good for anything. It's basically poison.
It is poison. That's how it
But
works.
that's that's my recommendation. If you have to choose a song that you've never sung out loud before.
How's your vocals holding up? Because if are you doing 8 shows with Waitress, I'm assuming,
Yeah,
and then you're off doing these corporates at the same time.
Yeah.
Like musicals, like I don't think people quite understand how physically adept and well, vocals are physical, but like how brutal it is on the body in a professional sense, doing 8 shows a week for months on end. How are there? What do you do to get through that? How do you survive that?
I go to the gym every day. I've got a workout sort of plan. Plus, I stretch a lot. As I get older, I realize, oh, I'm sore in the mornings. What is this feeling? Why don't I just wake up like normal? I wake up and go, my hip, my back is sore. Well, got to go back to the gym and stretch and strengthen that area. So you just go and, so I go to the gym all the time. I've signed up at the local pool, and I've been swimming, and I also they've got a steam room. So I like the steam room is very good.
Oh yeah.
But I taught yesterday a workshop with some kids, and then had to do a podcast after that for publicity, and then did the show. And even this morning, I'm like, my voice is I can feel it. It's quite hot on the inside. My vocal cords are quite hot. So today after this, I'll have a rest. I'll go to the gym, but then I'll go to the steam room and I'll just have a real relaxing day today for the voice. Because you can just, I'm like, I'm about to go into a 5-show weekend. Yeah. Well, actually, that's a lot. I'm doing a show tonight. Then I go to Adelaide and I do a concert in Adelaide, and then I come back for 2 shows on the Sunday. So plus the flights, I've got to rest. I've really got to rest today. So it's just knowing your body, and it's just knowing how much you can do. But also for me, it's not the load for this show is not too bad. It's like 3 songs. That's not a lot. Right. If I was playing Jenna, I just probably wouldn't see anybody at all, just because you're singing. You're on stage. I think Nat's on stage for the 2 hours, 2 and a bit hours. She's on stage 98% of the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy. She's killing it. And so is our her alternate Annie Aitken has also been on. She's great as well. So it's a powerhouse role. You've got to do comedy, you've got to do heartfelt, you've got to do vulnerable, you've got to do the range in this role is insane. I just get to be an idiot. It's awesome. A lovable idiot. Just gonna be a lovable idiot. I was like, I can do it. Tick.
Well, speaking of lovable, actually, that's another thing from the Tack Talks chat we had, because Tunny made an appearance, gave you some pizza.
Oh, yeah, she's good.
I don't know how long you'd been together at that point, but Bonnie was living with her boyfriend at the time. I was obviously living with Amy, and we got married that year. And then Bonnie since has been married and
she's been
married, had 2 kids.
Yeah, she's got 2 kids. Yeah.
And you're engaged now, mate. But what's going on? It's a bit of a slow progression there.
Slow. We've hit a hurdle. I think it's called planning. Tack. Both Georgie and I, ADHD, great ideas. No real execution. Plenty of gumption. I'd say we've got gumption. But as far as the execution goes, not great.
But things are good, at least. Things are good.
Oh yeah, we're great. We're killing it. She's in Sydney at the moment. I'm in Melbourne. I think it's time. I think it's actual just like the time. We both work a lot.
Yeah, you do.
And even if like on socials, we don't see us for a while, it's probably because we're both working a lot. We don't have time to do or energy to make any stuff. But yeah, we're both very busy. She was working. Some weeks she works like six days a week, and she's meant to work 4, but she's often working 6 days a week. And the day that she does have off she's probably trying to catch up with friends, and then she's like, "Oh no, I needed a day to actually be a potato." So yeah, we're trying to find the time at the moment. I think there's a gap in January we're probably looking at. Georgie's got her book release next week, so first week of June will be her book release. She's written a novel about 3 best friends trying to make it in the Australian media landscape. and it is a beautiful story
So
about
all of them
friendship.
are poor and living.
Well, it's certainly not like Friends in New York where they live in these
Yeah.
amazing penthouses. No, it's very real. It is a novel. It's fiction. It's all made up. Um, it's definitely her. She's all of the characters. Like when I was reading it, like definitely I go, that's you. She's like, yeah, that is me. And then the next character, so it reads, every character has a different chapter. So it reads like you have to keep reading 2 more chapters to get to the next character kind of thing, you know? Um, a bit like a Dan Brown kind of book. Um, but it has that kind of pace to it. The dialogue reads like you're reading a TV script. I think it'll get picked up. I've loved reading every iteration of it. And I'm just thrilled for her that it comes out next week. I'm going to Sydney next week to see her, like the first book launch in Bondi next week. Very proud.
Georgie Tunny, she's interviewed me. I should get her on this as like the first non-actor an interviewer back. She was so good interviewing me, like because the producer gave her like the question notes. She just sort of flicked through them, went, "Oh, okay, cool," and then it's like, and then for the next half an hour was just then progressively moving through all of those questions.
She doesn't ever look at a question. Like she looks at them, she reads them, and then just memorizes them somehow. She has that photographic memory. But also, she just is a good human being. So she just wants to know about you. So she's I think that's what makes her a great interviewer. She's never asking questions. It's like having a conversation. She's yeah, she's the best at it, I think. Yeah, she's doing really well. I'm super proud of her. And we're talking about you this morning. She's like, "Oh, say hi to Tack for me." She loved that interview.
Oh, she did? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad. This is my first like long form interview where I'm being interviewed. I've only done it the other way around, which is weird.
Shout out to the publicists at Neighbours. Tack and I were like, "What the hell is going on here? Do they just hate us? Like, why do they hate us so much?" That was such a funny time. I'm like, this is still a very popular show all around the world. Why do they hate us? It was so funny. It was, mate. I think we were creating some very good storylines as the actors. The writers were doing such a good job, producers as well. I'm having the same trouble working in theatre, trying to, the old school legacy media, trying to get out,
we do our press release. We go to
Yeah, there's
the
new
radio
ways
stations, blah, blah, blah.
to reach an audience these days. Whether it's a TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, there's so many different avenues that you could like. This is long form sort of storytelling, and then there's short fun clips, and we're trying to get more people to come see live theatre. I think it's still that medium that people still definitely want to see.
Well, AI can't really impose itself there, can it? So, which is great.
Which is fantastic. Although I heard this week that there is a AI musical being released. All the music, the whole storyline, all of it is being written by AI. The auditions are this week for a brand new musical, but it hasn't said on the brief that all the music is AI, but it's definitely AI. So do not audition for that piece of shit. Do you reckon there'll be like a streaming service that's just AI?
Oh
AI
yeah, I'm sure
cartoons,
someone's already probably built one out there.
AI dramas, AI action films, AI, everything. It'll just be an AI streaming service. $10 a month. Just watch AI. I mean, I like cartoons. There's a show that I love called Vox Machina. That's a great show. And I think it started as some guys doing Dungeons and Dragons in their basement, and they recorded their YouTube of them just acting out all the scenes and all the characters. And then those videos became a script for a cartoon. It's amazing. It's really good. I'm not even a Dungeons and Dragons fan, but maybe I am. I love it. I love it. It's so silly and
I feel
funny.
like it's one of those things you kind of have to be invited into it.
I have been invited recently by Gareth, who plays Ogie in the show. Nervous. It's a lot of improv, so I get nervous. I like a script, Tack. I like a script.
Yeah. Well, see, then you need to get access to the bits that make you uncomfortable.
It's true. It's true.
Maybe,
I know.
Maybe you'll be considered good if you improve that part.
just let go. If I just let go, I know.
Just let go for once.
I've just got this surprisingly good tag forever. That's all I want to be. Is just good. All I want to be is just good.
Rob Mills was surprisingly good. Do you actually get that a lot? Like, surprisingly good?
Yeah, heaps. Even still, I'm like, guys, I've been doing this for a while.
like 20 years of professional productions and you're still surprisingly good.
It's actually surprising goodness. He's actually all right. He's actually not a bad bloke.
Is it the same critic that's writing this review and he just uses the same thing each time? Maybe it's AI. Maybe it's an AI review and they're just scraping all the old ones and then it's surprisingly good.
That's probably it. Yeah, RIP journalism. No, I don't know. There's a few reviews that don't like me. I don't know why. I don't know. And then others seem to be like, oh my God, incredible. So who knows?
Well, some of those could be those legacy people that would still still be thinking that, you're only here because of reality TV and whatever, and purely as a protest against that, they protest against you, which at this point is unfair. I mean, I think you've proved your value beyond reality TV. Well, you're probably the best networker I've ever seen.
Me, I'm terrible at it.
Kidding me? We're at the
Yeah,
F1, and then we're in the boxy thing or whatever, and there's a microphone. Oh, no, actually, I think it was at the races. And, there's a microphone, there's a band there and whatever. Next minute, turn around, Millsy's stolen the mic. He's got the whole crowd going, singing songs and stuff. I mean, come on.
That's not networking. That's peacocking. That's a different thing.
Semantics at this point. I feel like people are like, oh, man, I like being around Millsy. Let's get him in more stuff so I can be around Millsy a bit more.
Is that a microphone? No, I brought my own. It's okay. So that's a tip for young players. Always carry your own microphone with you. So whenever you walk into a room, you're ready to go. You just got to be prepared.
I'm so surprised that you think you're bad at networking, because I feel like you are great at working a room.
Nah, I just like talking to people. You're the same.
That's
you're
what
very.
It is, though. That's what it is.
I feel like I'm approachable. I just like having a chat, like finding out about the world. It doesn't really matter, who they are, what they do. Everyone's got a story,
Is it true you're doing, so your charity of choice generally is the Australian Children's Music Foundation, correct?
Yep, that's right. ACMF, yep.
Are you doing something with Waitress with that as well?
Yeah, we're partnering with Waitress. So we're doing a big bucket collection World Music Day, which is actually my birthday, that weekend, 21st of June. So come to the show and we'll ask for donations. And as you leave, you can tap your card or phone, or we'll even accept cash these days, which is great. And all the money goes towards teachers, musical instruments and programs into schools that have had their music funding cut. So we provide teachers into schools all around Australia that need music teachers, basically. Or else, you're going to have like the maths teacher go, oh yeah, I think I can play a bit of guitar. I think I could teach the kids some music. Why not have a dedicated music teacher that is actually a lover of music and a musician that can come in and teach your kids? So yeah, we're into all we try and get into all the primary schools, because sadly, for some reason, when the funding is cut in schools, public schools, music is one of the first things that go.
The arts go first.
Which makes no sense when it's been scientifically proven. This is not my words. This is science, that it improves numeracy skills, literacy skills, deeper connection with one another, deeper connection with oneself,
teamwork,
like so listening skills, like so many things will be improved if you have a dedicated music program in your school. So I don't understand why we think it's not important. A lot of governments put a lot of focus on the STEM subjects, but in order to get things moving, don't we need STEAM? So we need the A, we need the arts. So put the A back into the STEM so we can have some STEAM.
People often complain about having to do maths at school or whatever and saying, I don't use that in my daily life, even though I can argue the opposite, that they do consistently. But people experience the arts every day.
Every day.
And if you were to ask them to remove things in their life one by one,
yep,
the arts end of it's gonna be the last, because everyone's seeking that entertainment, enjoyment, the zone out, the being able to remove themselves from their current lives, the meditation side of things. But even though as a broader public, we value the arts the most as aspects of our lives, we value it the least in
education.
Education, in its government support, it's like everyone's happy that the arts gets less money. They don't really care for some reason. But outside the politics and outside the science, is there another reason that has made that charity, obviously outside just the obvious music side of things, is there another story that has led you to be such a big supporter of the ACMF?
I'm now on the board of ACMF and just trying to find different avenues for our outreach, I suppose. I mean, I have a 10-year goal that we don't exist. The ACMF doesn't even exist because the funding is already there.
Because it doesn't need to exist, yeah.
Correct. I think every charity shouldn't need to exist because the funding should already be there. So that would be my 10-year plan or 20-year plan is because governments move glacially slow. Oh my God, glacially slow. But is that we have a dedicated music teacher. There are so many of our friends. There's so many people that are musos that would love to teach or just to upskill their own skill set, so they can go teach once a week. I think there would be a huge there's an outcry for needing music teachers. You just need to connect them all. You need to find the muso that would want to go in and do it, and you need to find the schools that need it. Why don't we have this?
It's a solution to two kind of, I don't want to use the word problems, but problems in the sense that you're supporting both
the musician,
the musician, but also then the music program too in one funding model, as opposed to having to find two different avenues. So,
as I said, I think ACMF is doing a really good job of trying to solve that problem. But as I said, I don't think we should exist. I think we should just have dedicated music teachers in every school. There, I said it.
Headline: oh my God, Rob Mills says every school should have a music teacher. What a crazy lunatic.
Yeah, I'm wild, right? I'm wild. I'm out there.
I remember seeing you in Ghost before I met you.
The best review, Rob Mills died on stage. That's right. I actually did die.
It was just factually accurate.
Yeah.
But I remember being wowed by the magic in that show.
The special effects.
Because usually I can watch something and go, it's probably this or that. In that, I was like, I don't know. Some of this, I'm like, I don't know. Now, I'm not going to ask you to reveal any secrets, but were there any times, whether in that show or another show, where you've had major technical malfunction and you've had to improv the magic, so to speak?
You know what? We never had to improv any of the magic in that show. It went smoothly every night. Like, there might be a cue missing for like a sound effect. But as far as like the magic itself, it worked seamlessly every time, which I loved. From walking through a door, that was so cool. I can't review how it was done. It was so amazing. We had the same people that worked on like the Harry Potter films that did and the Harry Potter play as well that did the magic for that. There was a scene where I was on the subway fighting with a ghost and like two ghosts fighting each other, I think it was, and being flung around a carriage and around other people. That was insane. I'll tell you how that one worked. Was like the ensemble members were dressed in like black felt, and they would pick you up in certain areas so you couldn't see them, and you were like thrown around by it was choreographed and it was done in like slow-mo Matrix style as well.
Who's choreographing that? Because it's like dance, but it's not really dance.
I can't remember who. It was like the magician and the dance and the choreographer together that made that sort of work. And also the LED screens that were on the train were sort of facing this way. And the train would move and then we'd all move. Oh, it was wild. It was so much fun. But yeah, they never dropped me once. No, like none of that ever like failed. Yeah, I really, really loved it. There was one moment that was pretty scary. It was a very fast, I had to be, because I'm a ghost, I can appear wherever. There's like a 5 seconds I have to get from one side of the stage to the other side. You are sprinting, and at the Regent Theatre, there is a crossover behind the theatre. They never built it for it's a movie theatre, not a theatre.
Oh, right.
So they had to build this crossover at the back. It's like 1 meter wide. So you're running like this behind the building and then back onto stage. And the stage manager was in there one night and I was like, get out of the way. I like jumped over them, you know.
Hoping your mic had been pulled down at the same time.
Yeah, I think it was.
Otherwise, everyone's like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
But I love I do love magic. I wish there was more magic in Australia.
But you've been like probably one of the busiest, at least from an outsider's perspective, let's say artists to cover acting, music, everything, since really Idol. How? Outside of just talent and drive.
It's like,
But how?
with your mediocre talent, how do you keep getting employed? We all
No,
want to
you know what I mean. Like, it's because
Yeah.
there's plenty of talent around, right? And a lot. Like, I've got so many friends that I started out acting with who aren't acting anymore.
Look, I think you have to want it. I think you can manifest certain things. I think you have to know what you're right for in the roles. I think if you just audition for things all the time and you're just like, I'm not right for that, there's no point in, you won't get the role because you're not right for it. But I think it's knowing what you're right for, knowing what you're good at, knowing what your weaknesses are, and then working on them. I think that's really important. For me, it was singing was my weakness. As a singer,
Ironically,
yeah. So I took a bunch of singing lessons, and I still take singing lessons. Like I worked for 2 months before we started rehearsals on this show because the singing style is so different to what I've been doing over the last couple of years.
Mm.
It's the opposite of rock and roll. It's very soft and sweet kind of contemporary singing. So it's doing the work outside of the work. I think it's also just being a good person at work, not being a jerk, and happy to be here, easy to work with, problem solving. Like for at work as well. Like, yeah, we'll just make that work. Saying yes to like the publicity stuff that comes up, it's part of it. Yeah, of course
Yeah.
I'll do that. Whatever you need. We're gonna sell the show.
Yeah, I think it was like Jodie Foster or somebody had said that like she's not paid to act, she's paid to do the publicity. And
Yeah, the
acting she
acting
does
is
for
fun.
free. Yeah.
Yeah, the acting is like that's play. Like it's actually my brother calls it crash. He's like it's supervised singing and dancing. He's like, how was Crash today? Crash was great. Thank you.
He keeps you grounded, obviously.
Yeah, very much so. But I think it's still as soon as I stop enjoying it, I'll definitely stop. But no, I love it. I love getting to play make believe every day, keeping fit, keeping like curious, just with what's happening as well, finding out what shows are coming out. Having a good acting coach has helped, and having someone who challenges you in the room when you're doing as your reader, or someone who's helping you do your scenes. I've got a mate, Dan Cosgrove. He's such a great actor, but he's also a great teacher. So he really helps me with my self-tapes for anything. And even if I don't get it, I've definitely learned something in the room with him, just different exercises. And he's constantly learning as well on best ways to teach and best techniques that work for, he's like, oh, this worked the other day for an actor. They got the role. He goes, I didn't think that they were right for, but we just tried this couple of different things. And so he's really good at opening my mind about that. Don't be a dick. And like,
That's helpful.
well, but also if you've got 8 shows a week, stay fit and healthy, do all the things that you need to do. So look, we've got such a small industry, and you know this, like we've got so many different actors, they're all trying for the same roles. But if you're dependable and you did a really good job and you weren't a drama queen, or the word gets around, like especially in musical theatre. What's that person like to work with? It's one phone call. No, they were terrible. They were really hard work. They just didn't turn up. They were lazy. They took too many shows off. Like, just turn up. Be a good person.
Do your job.
Or don't be in the industry. Like, or don't complain that. Look, and I also should point out, a lot of it is luck. There's so much of it is luck, tack. Like, I'm definitely not discounting the fact that I came through Australian Idol. I had a bit of notoriety, but I think the more I practiced or the more I worked, the luckier I got. But definitely there is, without a doubt, there's so much luck involved in getting the thing. And then it's just on you to not stuff it up. Once you get that chance, when you do get that chance, think of all the work that you've done beforehand. All the wait, not just the waiting around, but the preparation or the other gigs that you've done on the side. That's that's the work that you've done. So then you're ready to go. When you are ready, you're ready because you've done the work. Constantly keep upskilling, I think, is probably a good way to look at it. And just know that that's the thing that you always wanted to do when you were a kid. Remind yourself, like that's the best thing. I get to sing. I get paid. My God, it's ridiculous. I think about like if I'm doing a corporate, sometimes corporates pay like really well. Sometimes they pay whatever. I'll be on stage before the curtain goes up, and I'm like, I would have done this for $100. It's like I sang 30 songs a night at a pub for $100. So like this is amazing.
Was being a singer what little Rob Mills wanted?
Yeah, I think so. I love singing. I think it's not just the singing, it's making people happy. I think it's making people happy, making people feel things. I think as I've gotten older, I've realized it wasn't just the singing that I was doing. It's when I was singing, I watched people's faces and they're like, oh,
You
it's
affected
that.
them.
Yes, it's affecting people, is what I like. Some people, they love the praise from that. I don't think it's that for me. Some people need the praise from
The
it, like
applause.
the
Yeah.
applause. I don't need it. That's as long as I know that you've had a good time, that's enough for me. Like, so I thought it was the singing, but then as it got into acting, I was like, oh, people are feeling other things than just clapping and singing or whatever. Like they're feeling sad, darkness, or they're feeling vulnerable, they're feeling despair. They, especially with the Finn Kelly stuff, they're feeling frightened. They're feeling, how can I make them feel that? But it's not even like, how can I make them feel like it's just the byproduct of you just doing the job. Do you prefer stage to screen? What do you prefer?
Screen, for sure. I mean, my language is much more on the screen. You're obviously, I feel like, much more comfortable on stage.
I like TV and film stuff that I've done, but I don't know the world of like how much I should move. I always very self-conscious about someone who gesticulates quite a lot, someone who is quite a big facial mover.
That's what works on stage, right?
Yeah, and how much I should or shouldn't do. So I was always super self-conscious of that. Looking back at some of the Neighbours stuff, I was like, oh, I could probably have moved more my face a bit more, given a bit more realism to it. I think I was a bit more subdued, but at the same time, it kind of worked for the character of Finn. Everyone's like, it's in the eyes. You just got to use the eyes. I was like, well, okay.
I have issue with that, right? Because people, it's that classic thing of that there are so many acting teachers out there, so many gurus, etc., and so many different methods. And if one method worked for everyone, there'd be
We'd all do
one
it.
method.
Yeah.
We'd all do it, because why wouldn't we? And the idea of saying it's just in the eyes, and people say, oh, just think it and do it. Some people in real life can think and are utterly blank.
Yeah.
So if you tell them, just think it, it'll happen, and then you watch them and it doesn't happen, and you just got to think it, they're like, I'm freaking thinking it, man. It's just, so it's like.
My thinking face is actually resting bitch face. It's like, so it's never good. Georgie's like, are you mad at me? No, I'm just thinking. She's like,
I'm just
are
thinking.
you? Because it looks like you are furious with me. I'm like, no, I'm just thinking. Can I ask you something? And this is something I've struggled with all of my characters over the years, and also just personally, is taking the character off. Like the amount of times I've done roles where, like even Anne Juliet, I was playing Shakespeare, who was like basically breaking up with his wife the whole show. There was tension between the couple, and I was like, I've got so much breakup energy in me. I'd go home. Georgie's like, do you want to break up? I'm like, no. Like, no. We're good. But just, you feel the things. Like, and with Finn Kelly years ago, like there was some domestic violence stuff in him. And I remember sitting in the car crying afterwards. So I don't like it. I don't like this feeling. I don't like upsetting people. And me as Rob doesn't like, especially harming another person, especially a woman. I had to talk to my psych about it, and he's like, try and recalibrate how you look at this. And it's not you doing the thing. It's you're allowing yourself to like congratulate yourself for being able to do the thing. Instead of you doing the thing, it's you congratulate yourself for being able to do it. I was like, oh, that's a nice way of reframing it. And even in Waitress, like, you know, the neuroses, there's some times on stage I feel like I'm going to black out because my heart rate is up
Mm.
and I'm so nervous in these moments. Like, I'm like, whoa, it's like your body you're actually feeling these feelings. They're not real, but you have to feel them.
To your body, they're real.
Yes.
When
It's
your heart
so,
is pumping, it's pumping. It's not pretending to pump fast. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, my question is, have you ever struggled with that, with taking off the character and leaving him in the room or taking him home with you?
Not in a conscious way. I know that it has, like, where there's been trail on like effects but a lot of that I put down to fatigue of different kinds. When you're going through so many different emotions in a day, there's two things that I guess it's your ability to compartmentalize, be able to go the difference between I and them, in that I am this, the character is this. And also it's okay that you're feeling the way you're feeling about it. One of the hardest things I think with any mental state is that, or any negative mental state, let's say, is that it's compounded by how you judge yourself for being in that state.
Oh yeah. No, I'm fine with that now. But yeah, for a lot of people, they see crying as bad. I think it comes from when you're a child. Oh, you don't need to cry. You'll be right. Just pull yourself together.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm a big crier. I love going to see a movie or listen to music, or you got to release the pressure valve. I think is, and I always encourage, especially men, to do that. Like,
Mm.
let it out. The emotional stuff it's fascinating. I think as actors, especially for someone like Nat and Annie playing Jenna in this show. Oof,
Mm.
that's a lot. It's a lot to carry.
Did you have any time with Nat on Neighbours?
Never, no crossover. Couldn't have two villains. Couldn't have two great villains.
Two great villains.
Yeah. Some say Finn Kelly the best. Some say the greatest villain of all time on Neighbours. Some say.
some say, is that like a Maxwell Smart? Would you believe? Some people say.
A lot of people saying it. I didn't say it, so a lot of people saying it. Yeah.
And there's the greatest villain of all time. But yeah, what's it like working with Nat on this then? Like, have you guys worked with each other before, or is this the first time?
We did Grease Theatre in a Spectacular
The
many
one I
years ago.
saw. I should have remembered that.
That was in 2005.
With John Farnham, right?
With John Farnham, yeah.
Yeah.
Great John Farnham. Oh my God. Magda Zubanski, Richard Wilkins. What a cast. And we did Chess the Musical just after COVID. We had to tour. Still while COVID was floating in the air, we somehow got a tour of like a month out of this show, and it was awesome. She was fantastic, but we didn't really do much together on stage. So this is the first time that we've actually, like, you know, worked together, connecting with each other. And she's awesome. She's silly and she's fun. She is messy and she's kind. You know, she is Jenna. You know,
How long was the rehearsal period?
like 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks.
Oh, this is pretty quick.
That schedule this year has been insane. She did SAS, and then she's moving house whilst also doing a movie with Bernard Curry. So
Oh, God.
I think she had 5 days off before she started this.
How long's the run now? How many more months ago?
What are we, a month in?
Yeah.
And then we'll go till the middle of July here in Melbourne, and then till November in Sydney.
Wow, 5 days off and then 4 months or something.
And she's doing Road Traders as well.
Oh, yeah, of course, because the release of the new album, right?
Yeah.
In those long runs, how do you manage to find, I mean, you're so busy, you know, even in us trying to organize this, you're so busy at the moment. How do you manage your rest? How do you manage your recovery? How do you make time for it?
You just have to schedule it in. Like yesterday.
You're not good at planning, Rob. So
No, I know. That's why I'm getting better with the planning. You have to put it in the diary. My partner and I are trying to get better at that.
And what does a rest day look like for you? What's your thing that you just want to go and do? You just sit on the couch and potato, or do you want to play golf or something? Like, what's your thing?
Probably just not see anyone. I might go see a movie. But I'll go to the steam room today. And I'll go to the gym, have headphones in, listen to some music or a podcast, and then just have a day off. Like today will be my day off. I've got to do some life admin stuff today, like the washing and yeah. I might do some cooking for the weekend. So yeah, that's my happy place.
Last thing, because I wanted to ask you about the busyness, right? Because I'm an out of work actor, kind of. I mean, I'm still doing play school, but that's so few
Yeah,
and far
you'll
between.
work,
It doesn't really
mate. You're
quite.
working.
Yeah, well, asterisk. Let's put it. It's working with an asterisk. How much of your busyness is because, as an artist in Australia, you have to be that busy to survive, versus you just like being busy?
I just like to say yes to stuff, and I also, I don't know, I'm probably 80% extroverted. So if I'm not doing anything, I feel lazy and I feel the shame of not having achieved anything. I try and say no to some things, um, and try and make time for my partner and I to do, like I'm flying to Sydney on next week, so I'll see her for a couple of days. Couple of days in the month is not bad. It's pretty good for us. Looking forward to spending some more time with her in July when I get back to Sydney. Is it important? I think it's just trying to work out what is important to you. Like it's different for everyone.
Well, thank you, mate. Thank you for
Thanks, mate.
joining.
This has been a lovely catch up, by the way.
Yeah, it has. It's been a long time coming, I feel, and I want to play some tennis.
Yes.
Tennis when you've got some time.
I actually, like, as I said, once the rehearsals and the show's now open, we've been open for like a couple of weeks, but there's been a bunch of publicity as well. I actually do have the time now.
Excellent. Rob Mills, everyone. What a legend. Hearing the actual physical and mental work that goes into sustaining a career like that for more than 20 years is exactly why I wanted to start this podcast. So make sure you get out there and see Rob in Waitress while it is still running. It's going most of the year, so check the show notes, the description below for all the details. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the show, the Just Tack Patreon is officially live. And this is your chance to directly support the pod and get the insider's take on everything. We're really trying to give you some extra value here. And now how algorithms work means that we have to restrict how much of this reality we actually show. So this is our dedicated independent space where the filter comes off completely. In fact, if you want to watch the completely uncut extended video version of this interview that you just watched or listened to, it is sitting over there right now. And why not listen to it twice? Rob's worth listening to twice. And there's a 7-day free trial. So go on and just give it a go. It's free for 7 days. Just go do it. I've set up tiers for a variety of different price points. For those wanting to show their support with an amount that's less than a coffee each month, you can gain early ad-free access to the episodes and to our private Discord. And for those Neighbours obsessed fans, look, I know there's a lot of Neighbours people out there. There is a tier giving you exclusivity to Neighbours alumni guests. You get advanced knowledge of the guest and the opportunity to pose your own questions. Something I know many of you miss from Tack Talks because it was live and we could kind of do that. And for those where money isn't a problem, and you just want to show how much money you've got and you want to support the show, I love you, please do it. We have a tier where you get your name read out on screen at the end of each episode as an executive producer, amongst a whole bunch of other goodies. So go there, check it out, and please support the show. And like I said, there's a 7-day free trial for the lower tiers, but that trial is only sticking around for the next 30 days. So you got to get onto it. 7 days free trial. Let's just do it. Click the link in the bio right now to grab your spot. So thank you. Please go and check it out. It would mean so much, and it means this can keep going. Even if, some people get on the lower tier, that just mean the world to us. So yeah, thank you so much. Oh, we have some merch coming soon too, so look out for that. And if you're on the Patreon, you get early access to that stuff too. I'm working on it. It's just really hard to figure out how to have stuff that is available in Australia and the UK and the rest of the world, because they're things that have got prints on them, and it's really complicated, and I'm trying to figure it out so that everyone can get access to it and not be charged a fortune in shipping. So it's coming. So look forward to that. I'll see you next week.